All right. While I am helping our last panelist to log in, does one of you want to have the honors to start off by introducing yourself and your business? Zoe, you want to go ahead?
I'll go first.
All right.
My name is Zoe Dolch. I'm one of the owners of Washington Street Outfitters. My co-owner, Spencer, also boyfriend for 7 years, owns it with me. And we have owned it for 3 years. As of February 11th, we brought it to Tiffin in 2017 as an endeavor to bring some clothing and fashion back to my hometown. So, what else do you about my business?
Yeah, just kind of what you sell and what your kind of products are.
Okay, so we sell my main things I talk about are clothing, which apparel, men's and women's, and then we do music and home goods. So that goes into like records, and then we go into a lot of glassware, plates, like some more kind of like niche-y, kind of like fun stuff, a little bit more humor associated. And then we get into like plants and some other like more just smaller product assortments of like artwork and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we sell. I think that's a good roundabout of our store. Donna?
So my name is Donna Krause, and I own Relevé Bar Studio. It is kind of funny how Zoe and I are connected. My studio is in her original space that she opened in the Laird Arcade. So it's kind of funny. She moved out and I moved in eventually. So I started Relevé Bar Studio back in 2012, actually, in Birmingham, Michigan. So I opened that studio about 8 years ago. It's a adult fitness classes, a few kind of fitness and ballet. Excuse me. And I moved to Tiffin last fall of 2019 and opened up my second studio in the Laird Arcade in November of 2019. And we teach small group fitness classes, so we're considered a boutique fitness studio. We limit our classes to 15 people. So we have a variety of classes from a basic bar to a cardio, more of a power bar, and I also do personal training there as well. And we host adult fitness parties. So if someone wants to have like a girls' night out, we've had a lot of those. People join in, and we have a lot of fun.
Awesome. All right, thank you both. We will have Derrick join in when he's able to get in. He's having a little bit of trouble logging in. So I guess we can go ahead and start in with Zoe. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you've done since the pandemic started to kind of adjust what Washington Street does in order to still maintain some business?
Mm-hmm. Totally. Thinking about this prior to the presentation, I tried to pinpoint when exactly I started. Your brain starts like connecting all these dots and you start like thinking, what do I need to do? So I want to say it was unfortunately kind of at the beginning of March, like around March 7th, I started feeling some of the anxiety from our world and our economy and what was going on. And I started, researching like what's going to happen and where are we going with this month? Like I could feel sales were down already that beginning of March, just as people started to wonder. So we closed our store March 17th, which is about a month coming here soon. On March 16th, I think I put on our Instagram that this will be our last evening open. So prior to that week before was when the wheels started turning of like, we need to do something and I don't know what it is and I don't want to do it, but we have to do it now. So the first step was figuring out the most efficient way to go online without stressing myself out completely out of the world, because we've always talked about going online, but it's, it sounds easy, but it requires an immense amount of thought and decision making. And I think those things have scared me from going online because I, realized like how much time and effort, and I didn't want to take that away from our brick and mortar. And I always wanted the brick and mortar to be first. So going back to that first week and a half of March, I sat there thinking, well, I feel comfortable with Instagram. And I follow a lot of stores that sell on Instagram, and a lot of stores that link their product to Instagram, which therefore links it to their website. So the first step I did was apply to be able to sell on Instagram. You actually have to reach out to Instagram. There's a little bit of a approval process. And once they approve that, it took about 4 days, but that weekend before we closed, they approved us. So that week before, I was sort of trying to figure out the game plan, and that was the first step. So I don't exactly know what Instagram's criteria are. I think there's a little bit like they don't want a falsified product being sold, so there's a little bit of background check they have to do for a business. But once that was approved, it was into digging into understanding how to connect my Instagram to a website that I actually don't have a website. So we use our POS system, Square. If you're familiar with it, a lot of small businesses use it. Super friendly, super good pricing on everything. So they own Weebly, which is a website editor, website way to portal to sell. There's a lot of them. Shopify. We've looked into a lot, and I think that's the part that I've been hesitant about opening because you never want to make the wrong decision. It's a little bit of an investment, and you bite yourself. Like there's been a few steps that I've sort of regretted, but that's a learning curve. So we, going back to the website, we decided that Weebly made sense right now because they're owned by Square. So for inventory purposes, we could automatically connect it. They spoke to each other. I didn't have to manually enter every single item. I'd have to go in and like edit it so you could see it, but it didn't seem as overwhelming as starting an entire website from scratch that I wasn't sure how to import my inventory. So we went with Weebly and had no clue where to start, and now we're in the thick of the pandemic and Easter's coming. And, for me, the easiest thing to do was to put product that I felt could possibly sell within that next 2-week time span. So first and foremost were puzzles. So we put all of our puzzles and our games and books on our website. And like you would think 30 items wouldn't take very long to put on a website, even though they speak, but it was a very time consuming week of just trying to figure that out. Like someone would check out and they would be like, it's only offering shipping, it's not offering pickup. And I'd have to try going and figure that out. So I'm still learning completely. I feel like kind of underwater in that sense of understanding the whole depth of e-commerce. But with that being said, I hope I'm not talking too long either. Okay. Puzzles sold pretty quickly. We only had inventory on hand. We sort of stopped making purchases early into March with nerves of not, having to have some money left over after we were closed for months. So a few thoughts. I wish I would have ordered more puzzles because those sold pretty quick, but we have a couple left still, but not our really cool ones. So we put those on first, and the thought was like, what would I want to do during a time like this? And then I started putting together, I had this one thought, I watch a lot of other Instagrams, a lot of other businesses, and a couple people were doing like care packages, which I thought was fun, and I thought I could spin it a little bit and kind of make it more for Easter. So instead of calling them all care packages, I just called them bundle buys. And this sort of eased my brain on the side of like going into e-commerce. I felt nervous putting every item on there and like successfully trying to advertise it, but I felt confident that I could bundle 4 items and discount it and try to advertise it as a bundle buy, send it to your friend, do something, take care of yourself. We kind of named them all like fun names, like just relax. I wish this was over. So that was a more recent affair within like the last week and a half to 2 weeks. And with that being said, we created different price points, and I literally went into the store and I felt like I was a personal shopper because I had a couple people in mind, and I was like, okay, I know this would go together, this would go together. And then I discounted it because who doesn't love a sale? So we did that, and then it just sort of a chain reaction started where people would ask for custom boxes. So for example, Donna asked me to put a little something together for Easter for her boys, which is absolutely awesome because we just got in men's merchandise and men's clothing. And if you know our store, we don't typically get in men's clothing frequently as much as women's. So it was kind of hard, you know, like you go into March, we got in men's clothing and then everything just stopped. So she picked out, I sent her photos and she, you know, we just communicated through text and she was able to choose a few items and I was able to put it on my website and send her a link and have her check out. So all these little steps that the e-commerce has created has sort of helped me to branch out into different ways. I didn't necessarily put the bundle online for everyone to see, but through learning the e-commerce platform, I was able to send her a link, and that's so easy. Like Donna, did you have an easy time doing that?
It was so easy. I literally clicked 2 buttons and that was it.
Checked out, yeah, and then you were able to choose pickup. So at the same time, Square was updating, Weebly was updating their options, which is pretty cool to see it in real time. They came out and said that they were adding features to their website, for example, like shipping, pickup, delivery. So those features are super important right now because like to be able to, you know, offer someone, I can just drop it up. We're in Tiffin, we live in Tiffin, I can just drop it off at your door. So those were a few steps that we took, and I definitely think like the bundle buys were helpful, and like Easter, getting those, you still want customers, and you still want them to remember you. So I think moving forward, we were able to keep a presence with our branding and our business, and also make a little bit of money at the same time. So it's definitely a work in progress, but that's my little rundown on what we've done.
That was super helpful, Zoe. Thank you. I think a lot of other businesses will be able to learn from your experience. And then, so Donna, your business is a little bit different. You're not necessarily selling a product as much as an activity or a service. So you kind of had to adjust in a little bit of a different way. Do you want to talk about that?
I did. So fitness studios and salons were one of the first to be mandated to shut down. And that was, again, right around March 16th, 17th. Previous to that, I always had this wish or dream. You know, I'd love to go online with my classes, but I don't know how to do it. And I'll do it tomorrow, you know, that kind of thing. Put it off, put it off, put it off. But it was always there, the thought of doing it. So when this happened, it's like, oh my gosh, now what do? I have this whole community of people that have embraced Relevé, my bar studio, and my instructors, and we just can't let them go. People still want to exercise, and they have that community together. So I looked at what resources do I have? I have a phone with a nice recording camera on it. I have two college sons who are home now from Heidelberg. I have a film crew. I have a tripod, a gimbal, and at that point I had a studio space. So I grabbed my instructors and said, let's shoot a fitness video and see how it goes. And it was actually really, really fun. We had a great time filming, great time editing. Just a couple of things that I didn't really think about that I had to think quickly is music in the background. You have to have non-copyrighted music in the background. Just lighting, sound, all those kind of things. So we're learning as we're going. So we shot 3 videos through that week in the studio, and then we decided just to stay home. That's the best thing. The state suggested stay home, so I didn't even want to go into my studio space. So we started recording at home. So what I did was I have a system that I use called Mind Body Online. That's my scheduling system. People can purchase their classes there. They can schedule their classes. So what I did, I transformed that into an online accessibility. So people would buy a 1-month accessibility through the month of April, and then I would send them a link to a private Facebook group they would be invited into, and then they could view all the videos there. And we're adding videos every week, and people are chatting and having a lot of fun. The neat thing was all of my clients in Birmingham, Michigan are able to participate as well, which is really, really fun to see, you know, both of my locations kind of coming together. Right now, Mind Body is putting together a video platform. So hopefully I'll be able to get the private Facebook it's not hard to do. It's just a little time consuming because someone has to request to join the group, and then I have to check and make sure they paid, and then accept their, you know, and then into the group. So just a little time consuming, but I've got some time. I've got some time. So we're going to continue this, and I'm really excited because we're going to film some more videos for people to work at, and we're doing a 21-day challenge right now. So it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. So that's just
Good.
yeah,
that was a really creative way to get your services online.
And the other thing, a lot of fitness studios are doing this, and I've noticed the majority are doing live streaming. So it's you have to log on at the exact same time that instructor is teaching. I wanted to do mine pre-recorded, and the reason why is I was thinking about everyone at home. I mean, I have two sons that are home from Heidelberg, so they're online streaming with their classes. I was thinking about a lot of the people with little ones at home that almost have to be next to their child online as they're doing their schooling. They might not have time at that specific moment for an instructor to say, okay, guess what? It's live stream right now. You have to, you know, put all that other stuff aside and do your workout. I don't think we have that flexibility if you have little ones at home that are online with school. So that's why I went the pre-recorded. That way, if you don't have time to work out until 11 o'clock at night, you can do that. If you want to get up at 5:30 in the morning, you can do that. So it's a little bit more flexible than the live streaming. It takes a little bit more time. The editing, the uploading, downloading, that actually takes a lot of time. But again, I have some time, so.
Great. All right. Yeah, those were really good overviews of what you both have done. I'm going to introduce Derrick here. He's our third panelist. While he is unmuting his mic, I do want to go ahead and give an overview. I forgot to kind of introduce this webinar series. So this is through the Tiffin-Seneca Economic Partnership, where I am a development manager. Our job in the shortest nutshell is to help businesses and support businesses in any way that we can. And during this time, we've tried to think of some creative ways to answer questions and provide some value in different areas for our local businesses. And we thought this topic of how to adjust your business would be a great webinar to add to this series. At the end, I'll give you a little rundown of some of the next webinars that are coming up. But that's kind of, you know, what we're doing here. So, all right, Derrick, are you able to unmute and introduce yourself and your business, a little overview of what you do?
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I don't think you can see me. I don't know how to turn the camera on, but my name's Derrick Smith. I'm the branch manager for TrEats in Tiffin. If you're not familiar with what TrEats is, essentially we're like Uber or DoorDash, kind of a mix. Uber more focuses on rides, DoorDash is more on delivery. We will deliver anything, you know, person or your grocery list. We have partnered with quite a few businesses in town. John Reno with Reno's Pizza at one point in time had 3 or 4 delivery drivers on staff at a time. He was paying hourly wages to. He now does all of his deliveries through us. He takes a dollar hit out of his pocket. For example, if his order was $14.95 before delivery, with delivery it is $16.95. $1 comes out of John's pocket and goes to our drivers. We have other deals with other Jollies. We do a $4 deal. We give a dollar to the business. They have a wait staff that would otherwise be having the cut. Well, if not for this, or if not for the pandemic, or excuse me, not for everything going on, there would be customers going inside Jollies that would tip the wait staff. We do a $4 delivery for them. their wait staff gets $1 of that $4. $3 goes to the drivers. I'm not sure how to really, because if you go to our Facebook page, we have photos and things posted showing some of the deals that we work with, Xcaret and whatnot. We do rides and transport. I'm sorry, like I'm probably one of the worst people to speak publicly. Yeah. Is anybody familiar with TrEats at all?
Mhm.
Have you used our services?
I haven't used it, but I see it driving around all the time in my neighborhood, and I see my neighbors ordering food a lot. I'm always like, I need to do that.
Yeah. Somebody had mentioned something about, we live in Tiffin, I live in Tiffin, you live in Tiffin, I can just bring it to your doorstep. In a sense, that's what we do. Simply Susan's actually contacted us earlier this week, as well as or last week, as well as Adam Smith from Carmela Carmies, about offering delivery service. So I mean, the word is getting out there. I suppose that I don't know if that's specifically something that anybody here is looking to possibly offer. If you're offering curbside, some customers don't want to go out at all. If you're willing to offer delivery, even if it's through a third party like us, that may generate some more revenue in this time where, you're just not having the people coming through the door.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Derek. Yeah, that was a great overview. I am going to go over a couple more resources that I've come across. And while I'm doing that, I want to remind our attendees, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand, or you can also type them in the chat box or the question box. So if you have any questions, we would love to take them. Or if you would like to offer what you're doing with your business and add to the discussion as well, we welcome that. So a couple of yeah, go ahead, Derek.
You had me to mention some of the things that we've done in regards to changing and adjusting. I would like to mention all of our drivers do carry hand sanitizer, gloves, and masks. And we do have, there are people on either side of, I want no contact. I absolutely think this is completely ridiculous. So we do accommodate for either side. I have drivers who are on both sides of that fence as well. So I did just want to throw that out there, as far as if this is something that, anybody here might look into working with us to offer delivery service. We try to be as accommodating as we can for both the businesses and the customers alike. And if you have any questions as far as how we do delivery or how that's handled, in a nutshell, we can handle all the payment for delivery, and you can handle all of your payment, or our drivers can come in, pay you, and then they get reimbursed completely from the customer. If that helps to shed some light on the payment scale, or how things work as far as pay goes.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Thank you, Derek.
Yep.
Okay. A couple more resources that I thought would be helpful to share with businesses. Some things that you can Google. I can send some links as well if you reach out. My email address is flood@tiffin-seneca.org. I'm happy to send you any of this information, but they're easily Googleable. So there is a disaster resistant business toolkit that can help you kind of walk through maybe some steps that you can take to prepare for this kind of situation again, or even to adjust right now. There is something called the Startup Space Community Hub that can help you figure out an online platform during this time if you're looking for that and don't have it, if that's not something you already have in place. Google has a lot of good resources for small business. If you just Google small business, they have some great resources to help you kind of with some online parts of that side of your business. Then there are also some ways, especially for restaurants, to do buying gift cards online. So there is one called Help Main Street. There's one called Rally for restaurants. And this is a great way for you to get out there and again, get those gift cards sold for people without even leaving their home so that you can continue to get a little bit of revenue. And then once things open back up, those people can go ahead and come in and get their food. And then you can also Google restaurant strategy and survival kit. It's another good one for restaurants during this time for some ideas. And then there's also a site for if you're worried about your servers, if you work in some kind of food or service industry, for tips. If you Google service industry tips platform, that's a place where there's some help for your service to get to. And there's many other resources out there as well, but I'll leave you with those. And some, again, just ways to help you get thinking creatively about how you can adjust your business during this time. Let's see, I wanted to ask if the three of you have any advice for other businesses and kind of how to think about, you know, Donna, you had a great thing of thinking about what do I have, what resources do I have that I could use to make this transition? And Zoe, you as well, for example, you were comfortable with Instagram already, so you're able to use that as a tool. So any tips for people about just kind of the mindset of how to think about making a change or an adjustment for other businesses that might be in the same sort of industry or a different industry than you?
I think one thing, you kind of have to have that mindset of not letting the grass grow under your feet. I mean, you can go one way or the other. You can just spiral down and think, this is horrible, my business is going to fail, or you could think out of the box, get creative, talk to other people that do things like this, you know, where you're getting ideas back and forth. But even if you can't sell your product or your service online, just be present. Let people know that you're still there. So when this whole thing is over, they're still familiar with you. You didn't disappear. So you might have to make yourself a little bit more familiar with Instagram or Facebook. You know, you could be scared of like, I don't know how to post something. This picture is kind of dumb, but just put it out there. Keep yourself present so people are seeing you all the time.
I think that's great advice. Yeah, I think for us, like that first week was a little weird because it's like, okay, I want to stay present, but I also like, you know, it was hard because like, how do you stay present without ignoring the pandemic, like making it look like you're ignoring it, but also making it not like you're only talking about it. And I felt like for us, like I just tried to stay true to like my heart, which is, you know, like how everything started, and staying present on Instagram, social media is right now our only way to connect. But my best advice, because I think I had to use it, is learn as you go. I am the anti-learn as you go. I am the learn before, master everything before, and then go forward. Because I don't like question marks and I don't like not knowing. And I feel like I like to excel. And if I go into something not knowing, I'm not going to excel as much as I can. So selling online definitely is like that. And I think the learn as you go, like, you know, I had a couple of really good customers that were my test subjects, and Taylor Elkert from Taylor Elkert Photography, who's also done a lot of transitioning as a business during this time, which I can speak of a couple of things that she's done that are really cool. But she messaged me and she's like, hey, I'm trying to check out. It's declining my card. I can't add this. And like, basically we just went back and forth for 45 minutes and she worked with me to figure out the checkout process. And as much as I apologetically sent her messages saying, I'm so sorry, I hope it wasn't awful. I'm sorry you tried to check out 13 times. But at the end of the day, like moving forward, like she's the only one hopefully that will have to deal with that. And I definitely thank her for that, because it's frustrating trying to buy your friend a gift and it's declining your card for no reason. So learn as you go, you know, just do it, like just start to go it. But Taylor Elkert, real quick, she she's a photographer, and I saw her really quickly transition to a couple ideas. And one of them was partnering, which I have done too, was partnering with like another business, like come together at this time. I know I've been working with Rusted Flare, Jen Burns on a t-shirt project, and Kelly Cooper, and Taylor Elker had a little thing in her studio with Rustic Flare of making like pennants, which she might have had this plan way before. But at the same time, you could see it transition. She, a little bit later on working with somebody. And then I saw she did a live video, which was really sweet, of helping people pose their newborn babies. A very important part of a baby's life in photography, and a very important part of her business. So kind of interesting that she stood up and was able to say, I'm going to try to help you. I'm not making any money off of it, but I'm going to help you capture this moment in your baby's life. So I think, learn as you go and stepping out of your comfort zone, because all of that kind of encompasses stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, those are really great tips, Zoe. Thank you for that. And great highlights of some other businesses that, like you said, have been doing this kind of pivot as well. Derrick, I'll kind of address the question a little bit for you. When businesses are thinking about whether or not they might be able to use something, a new tool like your service, do you have any advice for how they can think about what they might be able to utilize for your service? I know you said it's not just food. What are some other kind of types of items or things that you think TrEats could deliver during this time?
We've delivered, I mean, pretty much everything from, simple things of cartons of milk to, brake pads, for auto parts. We will, as long as we've got a vehicle that will fit the item, we're more than happy to deliver it. One thing that I've definitely noticed, and I'm much better at answering questions than just spitting it off, but one thing I've definitely noticed, in talking to some of the local businesses in regards to like, is this something that would fit the business, especially prior to everything? And a lot of smaller businesses are like, no, I've got a good influx of customers coming in. Madison Street would be a perfect example. We had tried to offer delivery for them. I think they said they have like 21 tables inside. When they have the 21 tables inside, they don't even really care to do pickup. Delivery was definitely way too much for them, but right now that's kind of what they're striving off of, is the pickup and the delivery. They were one that was one of our deals for a short period of time until it was way too much for them to handle. They kind of went off, and they are now a standard delivery. So if somebody calls and orders from Madison Street Tavern, it's going to be based on the total cost of their order. So $6, $8, or $10 delivery, unless we did implement a 10% delivery cost on orders of 150 or more. Because, and I guess this would be an adjustment due to everything going on. We've recently seen an influx of grocery orders that are well passing $150, and this is like in lieu of the Instacart, which is getting backed up 3 or 4 days. We're sending drivers into Walmart and Kroger, and they're taking 45 minutes to an hour and a half, doing grocery shopping for people, and then dropping everything off to the door. And then, based on the customer, like I said before, we try to accommodate with the customer. So, if the customer wants it dropped on their porch,
I can't hear him anymore.
Are you still there, Derrick? Okay, hopefully he can get back on. It looks like we may have some trouble connecting with Derrick at the moment. Derrick, if you're able to jump back on, let me know. I'll go ahead and continue. I did want to say Amy Reinhardt is on the call. She is our downtown Main Street manager in Tiffin. Heritage Ohio, which is the larger organization that supports Main Street communities like Tiffin, provided a webinar on how to create an online experience, and she has provided that link there in the chat. So you all can go ahead and copy that link or click on it in the chat if you'd like. So that's another way that you could learn more about creating that online experience that both Donna and Zoe have definitely talked about. Let's see, what else? Definitely want to give you each an opportunity to, if people want to check out what you're doing as an example, where is the best place they can go to see what your new business plan or your new adjustment looks like? If you want to give them your social media page or your website or whatever, so people can go, and if a customer wants to check it out, that's great. Or if another business wants to go and see, you know, is there something off of this that I could take to do for my business as well? So Donna, where's the best place for people to check out what you're doing?
Probably Facebook or Instagram. My handles are Relevé Tiffin or Relevé Fit. I also have, I put it on here. I don't know if it's backwards. It is backwards.
Oh no, you're good. We see it forward.
Good for us.
Backwards for me. So it's relevéfit.com. That's my website right there.
Perfect.
The pink card. That's the best place to find me.
Awesome. Thanks. And Zoe?
So I put in the chat our current website we are using. Can you guys see that link? Is it clickable?
Yes.
Okay, so just talking about like websites a little bit too. We have been a customer of Wix, Wix.com for 3 years, and during this time, Wix and Weebly are two separate websites. Okay, so we were with Wix, we've already paid for them for the year, like $200 some for your domain name. So when we went to Square, when we connected our Weebly account, it's a free website, and because it connecting my inventory so seamlessly, we sort of decided to, put Wix on hold for a moment. So this website address that I'm sending you, if you notice at the end of it, it says square.site. So that is because I'm not paying for the website, which is incredible, because I already paid Wix, and you see how much that is. And so if you have an idea, I think Weebly's monthly website for their kind of basic but premium, not free version is around $26 a month. So with us already paying for Wix and not being able to refund it, I want to eventually transition back to Wix. And so I didn't cancel it or anything. So you actually can find that website, just there's no shopping on it. So this website, a little confusing, but like we just had to make a decision and we had to do it quick. And because of Weebly being with our inventory, it just seemed to make sense. So part of me wanted to pay the extra money to have that, so it would say like WashingtonStreetOutfitters.com, but was not sure if I want to go back to Wix or not. I'm just kind of like using the free site, but that's what I'm trying to tell everyone, is it's free. So you can literally go onto it. Square is free. They only take an amount from the transaction, and they have add-ons. Once you're a customer, you can add a bunch of stuff on. But like we're pretty minimal. So this website, what you're seeing, everything is set up from Square. I kind of just get to customize it. And from that website, it actually connects to our Instagram, which our Instagram and our Facebook are very similar. We just have two different customer bases that do crisscross, but we try to keep the content similar, which are just the handles are Washington Street Outfitters on both of those. But please take a look at the website, and if you have any questions about it, I'm more than welcome to answer about just the functionality of using it. And I say it's easy, but obviously everything takes a minute to learn. So
yeah, awesome, thank you. Okay, and Derrick, hopefully we can get you back on the mic here. Where can people go to contact TrEats Tiffin if they would like to look into utilizing your service or figure out what the options might be for their business?
Can everybody hear me again?
yes.
Okay. You can contact us via text or call at 419-788-7779. You can also contact us on Facebook. We have Facebook Messenger. We also have a Facebook page. So, I mean, you can add us just like one of your friends. We have a contact. I will preface that looking for that specific contact is easiest done if you find the page first. We've got a couple of older contacts that are labeled similarly that we no longer use for various reasons. Facebook does show some instability from time to time, but it is our primary means of communication, especially with our drivers. That's what we use to dispatch our orders out. And then we also do accept payment via cash and card, and then we currently have Cash App and PayPal set up. I've had some requests for Venmo, so I'm going to look into that, but I'm personally not too familiar with Venmo. But from my understanding, most people who do have Venmo also tend to have Cash App or PayPal or both. So we haven't really had too much of an issue with customers who have questioned about Venmo. As far as, like I was saying before, in regards to payment, if this is something that anybody's interested in as far as a business goes, absolutely, you can have the customer pay you directly for your merchandise and then pay us separately for the delivery. Our drivers can come in and pay you for the merchandise, for the goods, services, whatever, and then upon delivery of it to the customer, get reimbursed. And like I said, again, we do accept cash card, credit, or PayPal, Cash App. Our drivers do get paid directly though. So when there is a card transaction, Cash App, things like that, it comes from the driver directly. They're self-contracted. Some of them do have it tagged as treats. So when the customer receives that receipt via text or email, it says, like mine, Derrick Smith, and I believe it does say treats driver on the end of it, I think. There's a few of the drivers that just say treats, but most of them do have their name. So I like to preface that a lot with the customers. So, don't think that I don't want customers thinking, oh, well, I'm giving my credit card information out, I wonder if it's safe. It's absolutely safe. It's just as safe as if you called the pizza shop and gave them your card number over the phone for them to take your order, so you didn't have to worry about it when it got there. If anybody has any questions, like I said, I'm way better at answering questions than I am at just like trying to figure out what to say for myself.
All right. Thank you, Derrick. Okay. So I also will just say we do, again, like I said, have more webinars coming up. So far, we have one coming up later this week on marketing and social media. We have one for financial assistance. Later this afternoon, we have one on health and sanitation, both for right now if you're open, and when we open back up, what the best practices for health and sanitation are for your business. We'll have one on rural and agriculture business, and then one tomorrow on technology tools, and also one next week on mental health in your business. So if you want the registration links and the exact time and dates for all of those, please go to our Facebook page. We're continuing to add them, and we're also continuing to add more webinars if there are topics that come up. So if there's something that would be particularly helpful for you and your business, or things that you all think of, we're happy to set up a webinar on that topic. This webinar also will be is recording and will be posted for people to view as well. So I want to thank the participants that came, as well as our three panelists. I think there were some really, really insightful and good advice and good ideas that were shared here today that I really hope other businesses will definitely be able to utilize. So any other closing thoughts from you all, or anything else you'd like to share with our businesses?
I can't wait to open back up. It's been long.
Yes.
One last contact, the easiest one, if you want information in regards to what Treats can do, you can send an email to treats.tiffin.oh@gmail.com, and then I figured that would actually probably be the easiest way to communicate as far as businesses go.
Okay, great. Thanks, Derrick. Any last thoughts from Donna?
Just stay positive, everybody. Stay healthy and stay positive. I think we're going to get through this together.
Yes, definitely. All right, well, thanks everyone. I think this was great. Again, hopefully some value provided. And if we get other questions on this topic, we'll be sure to let you guys know so you can jump in on that. All right, thanks everyone. Look forward to seeing you
Bye-bye.
on the next webinar. Bye-bye.